For those of you who don't know, I was the co-founder of Branded. The other co-founder is Mr. Michael Denmark, the chairman, founder, executive chairman of the Great Entertainment Group. And also his son Max's hands are still the hands in our logo. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Denmark. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Now we're going to move the chairs apart.
Lovely to be here. I need to face that way. I don't want to look at my wife. Okay, she's lovely, but I don't.
I'm looking there. But Michael, welcome back to the stage. It looks like you've been very busy. We had live matters with you, March 2023. We did our first ever outdoor conference at the observation wheel, and everyone got sunburned. Mask had literally come off that day. We then had you in Singapore chatting with us a few months later. The borders reopened in Hong Kong. You and your team were gearing up for a big winter and a rebound. What happened next?
Well, thank you. Yes. Hong Kong was pretty much the last market in the world, I think, to open up. So this past winter, was our bounce back. It was our time to try and follow in the footsteps of every other market that had enjoyed that bounce back. And we experienced, I think, the same kind of phenomenon as everybody else did. There was just so much hunger to be entertained. And we had an extraordinary outpouring of support from brands and partners, not just for our business, but the whole of Hong Kong. I mean, Clock and Flap sold out in 5 minutes, and all the K-pop, J-pop, and Mando pop all sold out literally very, very quickly. From our perspective, for the carnival, we had nearly 1 million people turn up. The wheel.
Say that again?
Nearly 1 million people. We'll get to that.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah. We had an extraordinary experience. There was an outpouring of joy, and that was supported by 270 partners, which I'll talk to you about a little bit more in a minute. But yeah, from our perspective, after treading water for 4 years and surviving, a couple of weeks ago we just sold our 20 millionth ticket. So we're really, really happy with regards to
wow. We're not comparing with.
No comparison. It's my job.
The event landscape in Hong Kong and Great Entertainment Group has come back. We hear mentions of a mega event economy and with global and regional events heading to Hong Kong. Little drips of information about stuff going on with big international bands on the way in. What is the current landscape like?
Mega event economy that tends to be funded by the government. Watching the panel just now, and that wonderful gentleman from Singapore Tourism Board, I was just sort of just wincing somewhat, because Swiftygate has really been something in Hong Kong. The coup that Singapore did to the rest of Asia with the whole of the Taylor Swift game was just sensational, but has had a lot of people scratching their heads. So, as far as mega events are concerned, so far in Hong Kong this year, there have been 210 mega events. Please don't ask me to tell you what mega actually means in this instance, but there is a lot going on. We just had the biggest art month we've ever had. There are more and more events happening. But when you've got the Swifties and you've got the Coldplays coming, the biggest focus right now in Hong Kong is when is the stadium going to be ready so that we can start swinging again in the same sand pit, I think, to be fair. But I would say that the Hong Kong Tourism Board and the government in general in the last 12 to 18 months have been far more collaborative and forward-thinking, open-minded with regards to working with us in the private sector as to what are we going to do. And that's been great.
You mentioned Greater Bay Area. And we've heard various speakers mention Greater Bay Area over the last couple of days. But for people who are not aware, what is GBA and why is it so important now?
Well, after the 5 years, the year of social unrest and the 4 years of COVID, we all sort of came back to work, and our market had increased by a factor of 10. We kind of went to sleep, hibernated for 4 years and came out, and our market's now 86 million people as opposed to just under 8 million people. The Greater Bay Area is essentially a landmass down in the south of China, which is 15 minutes away now on the speed train from Hong Kong to Shenzhen. Bearing in mind that Shenzhen, when we arrived in Hong Kong in the 90s, was pretty much a fishing village and everything else was farmland, we now find ourselves on the doorstep of probably definitely some of the most modern metropolises in the world, with a very, very hungry consumer base that we need to be communicating with and bringing them to Hong Kong. And at the same time, we need to be managing the 1 million people that are leaving Hong Kong every weekend to go up to these really shiny new toys in China. But yeah, it's 9 cities and 2 special administrative regions. And frankly, it's very, very exciting. One of our partners, new partners last year was Ctrip. That made a difference, Trip.com. I had a phone call the other day, which was extraordinary, that I'd never had before, from a company, quasi-company, government company in China, in the Greater Bay, asking me if I would quickly put together a proposal for 250,000 tickets to the carnival. And it doesn't matter what business you're in, when you're selling tickets, any kind of number, that's just an absurd number to hear. And I know that it will be 250,000 new customers that won't have been before. So there are big, powerful impacts happening with regards to all of us learning how to work with the Greater Bay and with that population. On the Hong Kong Observation Wheel, which is part of the business, we've had nearly 2.5 million passengers on the wheel since this time last year, and 92% of them have come from China, and we know where in China and so on. And they're not following flags anymore. They are fit travellers, free independent travellers, and they come to Hong Kong from southern China on assault tourism trips, which means they come to Hong Kong for 4 or 5 hours. Fortunately for us, most of them head to the observation wheel first, take their picture there, stick that up on a little red book, then they head off to buy a piece of toast with some blueberries and yogurt on it, take the picture, throw it in the bin, then they go off and play with the traffic for a couple of other selfies and go home, which is kind of okay if you're on the receiving end of any of the 400 Hong Kong dollars they spend in that day, but it's not great for the hotel businesses and everything else. So we're having to, all of us, collaborate and find the right content to get the right people down. I think a lot of the higher net worth, or the Henrys, have you heard of Henry? Henry's great. High earning, not yet rich. Brilliant, Henry. I heard that in a meeting. There's lots of Henrys coming down, and they're buying tables at various gigs, the Live Nation gigs or the outdoor DJ sets, and they're spending a lot of money. So yeah, it's interesting. Greater Bay, very interesting.
The Hooray Henrys.
Hooray Henrys, exactly.
Okay, so we're going to cue a photograph here at this point, because I have a lot of fun with this one. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This was at Music Matters 2007.
Okay, yeah, proud.
We haven't changed.
Yeah, well,
have we?
Not really. Cheekbones are still not there. Thank you for that.
Someone had a go at me the other day for spending too much time in the past, but that's because I had a lot of fun, and this was part of it. But you and I, we set Branded Up 23 years ago, and it was all about bringing brands, media, entertainment together. It's clear that you have taken that onto a whole new level. I mean, there was that wonderful article in Campaign talking about how many partners you actually had at the carnival, and Edward's there as well. And I keep seeing his logo flashing up on the screen. But tell us about the partnerships you have and how you've done it. How many have you got?
But a lot. But everything we do is branded content. And listening to the panel just now and the panel before, it's just fascinating to see how far partnerships have come. I mean, we have a great sort of main tentpole brand of AIA that works with us with the wheel, and also gives us the opportunity to create things such as the carnival and the circus. But they're really magnanimous, and they really understand the value of partnership marketing with other brands. And so if you can get the balance right of the brands that are ready to invest their marketing budget and work with you on how they're going to get the most out of that, and then work with other brands such as Cathay, who are a fantastic marketing partner and brand partner, and they bring additional content to whatever it is you're producing, like we did with Lego, Mercedes, UBS sponsoring the circus. So with the carnival, we had about 100 partners, whether they were sponsors, content partners, or media partners, and then we had 170 community partners. And the community partners wouldn't be possible without the other partners. And with regards to the whole movement of ESG, we seem to be on the sweet spot of the S for social. And so the win-win-win for everybody is that everybody's getting to do what it is they need to do to give back to the community, and also be on a platform where they're being seen to be giving back to the community. So, yeah, positive.
It's a lot of logos.
It's a lot of logos, but everybody gets their fair share. We have a lot of screens, and the thing about that carnival business is it's 67 days. So everybody gets an opportunity to bask in the sun. And, you know, the opportunity also for us is to work with each one of them on unbelievable reach or marketing campaigns throughout Hong Kong and the region that none of them compete. It's all complementary.
And you're meeting, and you are reaching literally millions of people through all those ticket sales.
Correct.
Michael, you did, I mean, we talked about, you mentioned the pandemic and what have you. You pivoted that business so many times because you had to, right? And the rules changed every day, things that you couldn't do. You had to put the fences around chairs and tables, and you had the cinema and stuff like that. But what's next for GEG?
This year will be the 10th birthday of the carnival, and it's coming back very, very strong. All of the beauty of knowing whether or not you're doing something right is that your partners come back year after year. And fortunately, that's the case this year. So we're looking for another 1 million people this winter. We are also going to be bringing back the circus, which is 120,000 tickets that we should be selling. And we're just finalising detail on the next 5-year tour of Asia, bringing Cirque du Soleil back to Asia, which is going to be very exciting, Hong Kong and Singapore.
Did we hear that here first?
It's finalising the details. So there wasn't necessarily an announcement, but it's obviously close enough. Within the group of companies, we've got lots of clever people. And you know, I've got the cool kids over there at Zicket who, whilst by day, process millions and millions and millions of tickets, they're also becoming very, very successful DJ promoters who'll be touring a lot around the region and up in Hong Kong. And plus I've got my very clever partner and co-founder of Greater Bay Media Entertainment, Simon Wilson. And he launched something called Folklore earlier this year, which is culinary content. Right, I'm reading this because I have to get this right. Culinary content platform, Folklore. For those that love to discover, drink and dine, which I'm sure basically is most people in this room. It's grown from 0 in March to 88,000 followers. It's had 8.5 million views. And the beauty of it is it's very much a modern take on media because it's already attracted great partnership with American Express, with the Hong Kong Tourism Board, Samsung, Diageo, and it's something we're very proud of. And that's going to be expanding throughout the region, country by country, city by city. And I think just for everybody's benefit, I think we should just have a quick look.
My name is Simon and this is Folklore, where we chat to the hospitality heroes that make Hong Kong a fantastic city to eat and drink. We're going to find out their go-to spots, their hidden gems, and share all of that here so you can enjoy it too. Whether you live in Hong Kong or you're visiting, this is your insider's guide of where to eat and where to drink. This is Folklore, the best restaurant in Hong Kong. Best coffee. Cantonese food, where's the best in town? Oof. What is the best fancy or fine dining spot? The best value spot?
My favorite.
What is it? Oh, this is Folklore.
Very good. Hands up, Simon. Hands up, Simon.
Simon is in the room, and for any brands out there, I would suggest you speak to him very quickly because he's getting very popular. Yeah, that's just something that, again, for us within the group, there is a media platform that we will then complement all of our other efforts across many other things as long as Simon allows it. But it's building a very powerful brand that, it's really quite exciting.
It's a very cool name as well.
It is.
It's a very good name. And final question. We've talked about your 10 years, we've talked about our 23 years. We've talked about how you really have changed so much and how exciting the Greater Bay Area is. What is it that drives you to continue creating these platforms and pushing those boundaries?
I think the innovation, the fact that every day we wake up and I've got some very, very talented people that I work with, the opportunity to create something out of nothing every time and then see it through to delivery and seeing the smiles on the faces. I think everybody in this room probably has got something to do with the entertainment industry, whether they're a creator, a producer, a musician, even an accountant. And all of us are in the same game of putting these smiles on faces. And I think as long as I can see those, I'm going to keep pioneering if I can, but certainly keep going because it's really, really worth it. I think it was a really emotional time for us this last winter and for everybody else in their markets for that first winter and seeing us bringing the joy back to people's lives for the first time, and that's enough to inspire us for at least another 10 years, because it's remarkable. I don't think there are that many businesses in the world where you can actually get that immediate, visceral feedback. So yeah, that'll be it.
Fantastic. And the Hong Kong's third best band has played there on numerous occasions as well.
You were doing so well. You were doing so well. It was about me for about 2 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've talked about Hong Kong becoming the Greater Bay Area. We talked about from 8 million to how many?
86.
86 million people. We talked about the wheel. We talked about the new Henry's. We didn't talk about Cirque, did we?
We didn't talk about Cirque. We didn't talk about Cirque.
But I think the nicest quote I got this is it's all about making people smile.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Denmark.
Thank you. Thank you.